Alrighty, I'm here. Alrighty, I think I made this. I think I've made this. I talked about this subject before. I think I've talked about it a few times in different ways. But I just saw a video, and I think the guy was trying to explain it, but it was more of a technical way he was explaining why recording studios are closing. But I'm gonna try to make it really, really simple. The reason why the recording studios are closing is because technology has caught up, and people have found it more cost effective to do it in their homes. And because it's so much cheaper to buy gear,
It's true.
the only really limitations to recording is if you have the space. But it really depends on the genre of music that you do. So if you're doing EDM, techno music, trap music, hip hop, electronic music, or whatever, and all you're gonna do is use keyboards, virtual instruments, or whatever, you really don't need a ton of equipment.
So basically what he's saying is nowadays with technology and how much we're advanced with technology, you really don't need to go to the most poppin' studio or just the nearby studio in general, because you can just have your own local studio embedded in your room and just have acoustics of furniture doing all this stuff for you. You know what I'm saying? Most people, they learn on YouTube how to engineer their own vocals, how to make beats, to record vocals, to being an artist in general independently. So if you're doing certain things that as far as with the new generation is on this wave with just everything independent, and you just learn upon yourself. Now, does it have some perks going to a certain studio? Yeah, I mean, especially if it's people who have a lot of experience, right, with recording artists and that have the good quality of the gear and everything that you need. Yeah, but there's a lot of downsides to it. Number one is it's very transactional, where they're not there to really build a relationship most of the time. If they book a lot, they don't have time to just sit there and build a rapport with all their clients. And it's like you in there for an hour and then that's it. You take what you get. Sometimes I've heard stories where people tell me that that stuff not even mixed right. You know what I'm saying? Like they just give them the rough recordings and then say here or there, and people be expecting like the final mixing and stuff from it. So it's just all types of things that you just have to be looking into and realizing like this is what we're moving into, right? People don't want to be sitting here paying all of their hard money, and they don't know if it's going to be a gamble between someone's giving them good quality service and someone who's just there to just record them and that's it. Hey, get out.
And you really, and honestly, you don't even need a lot of outboard gear. So most people find it very, very effective to just buy a pretty nice audio interface, whatever they want, whatever they're choosing, whatever.
By the way, if you're looking for a good audio interface, use the Focusrite. Focusrite is a good starter. You know what I'm saying? You can find one for like $90, maybe even less, like $80, $70. Good Focusrite. Shoot, maybe even 60 now. You know, Focusrite microphone. I use the AKG 120 P120. It's a good starter one. $90 as well.
DAW, whatever choice of plugins, audio interface by themselves, the studio monitors, and some microphones, and they're up and running. And it's just a matter of where they're going to record, the space. So most people realize that it is so much easier. Like I'm making this video going on 1 o'clock in the morning, right?
Hustling.
The studio, the way they used to run is artists and producers and all that, and engineers, especially if they don't own the studio, couldn't just go into a studio at 1 o'clock in the morning unless they are booked to have the studio. The studio's renting it to them. Other than that, you're not getting in there. But people are liking the luxury of being able to get in their studio 1 o'clock in the morning if they want. And what's great about it is, like, for me, I can be in this room in my studio anytime I want. That's the reason why most recording studios, it's like in as far as the gear.
Before he moves in too far as the gear, there's a part that I want to say that I want to clarify more is, yes, we like to be able to create things right there when we get the spark inspirations, right? I've had people, because I'm an artist too, I'm a slash producer, and I've helped with recording other artists at my own studio where they like, hey man, I had this idea and boom, boom, boom. And if I'm not working, man, I try to let them come as soon as possible to get in and record, because I understand as an artist, when you got that spark of inspiration and it's there, the melody and everything, you got to hurry up and lay that down. So I get it. You know, it's when you have that luxury of your own studio gear, you can be able to get up, whether it's 1 o'clock in the morning, because you never know, man. Creativity sparks and like this. It's like lightning in a bottle. And when you get that, you got to go in there and go and record and lay down that comes to your mind, that comes to your soul. So yeah, that's another reason why it's such a big benefit of having a studio equipment in your own home.
And equipment, that's really boils down to how much money people are willing to spend for it. You know, there's always going to be a lot of people that says you know a home studio is not going to compete with a commercial studio. I don't think a home recording studio is trying to compete with a commercial studio. The only people that's trying to compete with a commercial studio would be another commercial studio. This is the reason why they advertise the gear to draw in producers and engineers and artists. This is why they advertise their gear in the first place. You know, they'll put the listing of the gear that they got, so that will attract producers. Like, yes, I have a CL1B. I have a Newman U87 microphone or whatever. I have a Sony C800G or whatever. They have a list of that, so that when the producer and engineer say yes, he got the gear, so we're gonna rent that studio. But now there will always be the argument of the space. There's always gonna be the argument, and I know this is probably because of the way this pop filter.
And by the way, you don't need the most expensive equipment, man. You really don't. You know, you want to invest into some good, decent quality. Like I said, you get your AKG, man. Starter. It's a starter. Good, decent microphone. Records in a good variety of range. Whether you're mid, low, or high, it'll do what you need to get the job done. And it's only like $80 on Amazon. Get your focus right. And then, of course, I'm sure that everyone has a computer or a laptop. Get FL Studio. You get FL Studio, the recording edition. I think for like $300, and you can make all your beats, and you can literally record your vocals in it. You know what I'm saying? Or use any DAW you want. But at this point, it's like you can probably start and have a full functioning recording setup with just $500. Seriously. Just with $500. Acoustics, furniture. That's your acoustics. I got a little panel thing that my mom, canvas that my mom, she had painted, and I have it sit right there, and it blocks all the sound waves.
I can do it. I guess I can do it like this. Yes, I guess I can do it like this. I'm gonna let her know. I think you got me sick. I think she was coming down. So, that's really the basis of it. The pandemic kind of helped when we went into the 2020 pandemic. It kind of helped exacerbate, or I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, the reasoning to doing this at home. And I, believe it or not,
I know what he's trying to say. It accelerated the rate of people getting gear and getting studio inside of their room. And this is a fact. This is a fact. I know because I was one of them, okay? I was one of them around 2019. It was probably like late. Yeah, about like, no, not late, but probably mid 2019. I almost said 2018, but I mean, I did have some recording gear 2018, but I didn't necessarily actually start it around 2019 when stuff locked it down more. So he's speaking facts on this because I am one of them. When that pandemic hit and people was at home and had nothing to do and they couldn't get out, guess what they did? They started getting creative. Some people paint. Some people made music. That's just what it was, you know what I'm saying? People play games, built PCs, and it helped fast track to people doing things and learning stuff online and figuring out things independent and DIY stuff, you know?
Or not, I was thinking about even all the, probably probably favorite engineer that you may watch on YouTube. Like Bob Clearmountain has his own recording studio. Warren Hewitt has his own recording studio. And there's just a lot of them. A lot of them. Most people that are even in the, in the music engineering business or recording studio business have their own recording studios. So really, to sum up the video, you think about it, I think he had mentioned some recording studios, but there's a lot more. Even the record plant has closed. And it's kind of like when you got Capitol Studios, which is temporary closed, Westlake, and then there's so many that have already closed. I think United Way, Ocean Way / United, I think they closed. It was on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think this is pretty much we got the point of it. This is definitely has been a interesting time where we see the tides of turning more where people have the power in their hands, and I think that they can still exist if they find ways to provide more value. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just people. The inflation of the dollar cost is more too. You gotta think about it. Just to get a haircut, I heard it's like some people charging $30 now, which I mean, it's their craft. So I mean, if they value that and that's what it is, then people gonna pay for it. But the fluctuation of the dollar cost is way more. So people are gonna be like, okay, should I spend $60 an hour, $40 an hour, $30 an hour at a recording studio that I don't know, guarantee if it's gonna be the quality I want, or it's the inconsistent because they deal with so much clientele, or I can come here and just save up a little small grip, put it to my own equipment, and know that I'm gonna get the same output every single time. And the chances is, I mean, people can do it on their phones now. It's crazy. I mean, it sounds so professional. People doing it on their phones. I mean, you got Tory Lanez in prison right now, making music and releasing it as prison tapes. I mean, this tells you something. You know what I'm saying? What technology can do. So it's crazy, man. Shout out to this guy right here. I'm going to have his link so you can check out the rest of the video if you want to on his channel. I'll have the rest of the link in the description. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I'm a producer / artist. I've been making music for some years now. And I'm just a big fan of just trying to involve every single day, improving 1%, you know what I'm saying? Or improving as much as possible, this is the mentality, and try to inspire the world. So join me on this quest. We do a lot of different things like music reactions, my own custom, my own videos that I making beats, making music, and we do a lot of dope stuff over here. So see you guys on the next one. Peace.